In 1990, a teenager beat Super Mario Bros. In under 6 minutes. Today, that same game gets beaten in under 5 seconds. Not minutes. Seconds. The margin of improvement is so extreme it almost defies belief. And the community responsible for that achievement has grown into one of the most dedicated, technically sophisticated, and globally connected subcultures the gaming world has ever produced. Speedrunning is not a hobby. For millions of people, it is an obsession. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover exactly how speedrunning went from a handful of competitive gamers timing themselves with stopwatches to a global phenomenon that draws millions of viewers, breaks records weekly, and has fundamentally changed how we think about video games. You will learn where it started, how the internet transformed it, and the one thing about speedrunning that even veteran gamers almost never expect when they first hear it. Stay with us, because the story is genuinely remarkable. To understand speedrunning, you have to go back further than most people expect. Long before Twitch existed, long before YouTube uploads and Discord servers, competitive players were trying to finish games as fast as possible simply because it felt satisfying. Early arcade culture rewarded efficiency. Games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong had no endings in the traditional sense, but players competed for high scores and optimal routes. The competitive mindset was already there. What came later was structure. The first major organized effort to document game completion times came with Twin Galaxies, founded in 1981. Twin Galaxies originally focused on high scores, but it planted the seed of something important. It proved that players wanted their achievements verified, recorded, and recognized by a community. That desire never went away. It only evolved. In the early 1990s, games like Doom and Quake changed everything. These titles were not just games. They were platforms for competition. The Doom community started recording demos of fast completions in 1994, calling the project Compet10. Players would submit demo files, and the community would verify and rank them. This was speedrunning before anyone called it speedrunning. The terminology came later, but the DNA was identical. Fast, precise, competitive, community-driven. Quake took it further. In 1997, a group called Quake Done Quick released a collaborative video showing the game beaten at maximum difficulty in under 20 minutes. Then, almost immediately, they released Quake Done Quicker. The community was already iterating, already pushing the boundaries of what seemed possible. And the crucial thing about that era is that these players were doing it without financial incentive, without an audience of millions, purely driven by the challenge itself. The internet changed the scale but not the spirit. As broadband access expanded through the early 2000s, communities began organizing on dedicated websites. Speed Demos Archive, launched in 1998, became one of the most important hubs for the growing community. It offered a place to host runs, compare times, and discuss strategies. Suddenly, a player in Finland and a player in Brazil could collaborate on routing the same game. The geographic boundaries dissolved entirely. What nobody talks about enough is how much of speedrunning is actually collaborative. The popular image of a speedrunner is a solitary figure in front of a screen, grinding the same section for hours. And while that is part of it, the actual discovery process is intensely communal. Route discovery, glitch hunting, and strategy refinement happen in group chats, shared documents, and public forums. The world record holder almost always stands on the shoulders of dozens of contributors who never appear in the leaderboard. By the mid-2000s, a website called Speedruns Live was connecting runners in real time, enabling races rather than just solo time attacks. Competition became immediate and dynamic. And then came Twitch. Twitch launched in 2011, and its impact on speedrunning cannot be overstated. Live streaming transformed the activity from a recorded achievement into a live performance. Viewers could now watch a runner attempt a world record in real time, sharing every close call, every mistake, every moment of tension. The emotional stakes became visible. Speedrunning stopped being just a statistic on a leaderboard and became genuine entertainment. But the single event that catapulted speedrunning into mainstream awareness was Games Done Quick. The charity marathon series began in 2010 as a small gathering called Classic Games Done Quick, organized by a group of runners in a house. They raised around $10,000. Within a few years, the biannual events were drawing hundreds of thousands of concurrent viewers and raising millions of dollars for charity. Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 raised over $2.6 million for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. That number represents an extraordinary transformation from bedroom hobby to cultural event. Speedrunning.com and Speedrun.com became the definitive leaderboard platforms, hosting records for tens of thousands of games across hundreds of categories. The categories themselves tell you a great deal about the community. Any percent runs allow any glitches or skips, prioritizing pure speed above all else. 100% runs require full game completion. Glitchless categories ban exploits entirely, testing raw optimization and execution. Low percent categories challenge runners to complete games with as little collected as possible. Each category attracts different players with different philosophies, and that diversity has kept the community expanding rather than fragmenting. The technical depth of modern speedrunning is staggering. Consider what runners have discovered about Super Mario 64. Through years of community research, players found that certain precise inputs could manipulate the game's memory in ways the developers never intended. Parallel universes, as the community calls them, refers to a technique where Mario moves so fast that his position data overflows the game's storage values, effectively teleporting him across the map. Understanding that technique required players to read and interpret raw assembly code, reverse engineer memory addresses, and conduct thousands of test runs. These are not casual gamers. They are applied researchers. And here is what genuinely surprises most people when they learn it. Many of the most successful speedrunners have no formal programming background. They taught themselves the technical skills through the practice of speedrunning itself. The games became both the subject of study and the classroom. Communities have produced players who can read hex values, understand frame data, and identify memory manipulation opportunities, all self-taught through years of dedicated practice. The global dimension of speedrunning is also worth examining carefully. Major records in flagship games like The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Minecraft, and Celeste have been held by runners from Japan, the United States, Germany, Sweden, and South Korea at various points. The leaderboards are genuinely international. Events like Games Done Quick have featured runners from every inhabited continent. Language barriers are bridged by shared technical knowledge and mutual respect for skill. Celeste deserves particular mention as a case study in the relationship between game design and speedrunning. The developers of Celeste actively embraced the speedrunning community, eventually adding an official assist mode and acknowledging that watching speedruns of their game was part of their own experience with it. This represents a shift in developer attitudes. Where earlier developers sometimes tried to patch out glitches that runners relied on, modern developers increasingly view the speedrunning community as an engaged, passionate audience worth nurturing rather than controlling. The economic dimension has also matured significantly. Top runners on Twitch earn substantial income through subscriptions, donations, and sponsorships. Events like Games Done Quick generate national media coverage. Speedrunning content on YouTube routinely reaches millions of views. What began as a pure passion project now supports careers, though the overwhelming majority of participants still run for love of the craft rather than financial return. What this entire history reveals is something important about human motivation. Speedrunning thrives because it transforms a finished product into an open-ended problem. A game with an ending is, by most definitions, a completed experience. Speedrunning refuses that conclusion. It asks what efficiency looks like, what the game's actual limits are, and whether any limits set today will hold tomorrow. That restless curiosity, applied with discipline and shared across a global community, is what turned a teenager's Super Mario Bros. Run into a living, breathing, evolving discipline that shows no signs of slowing down. The world record for Super Mario Bros. Currently sits at 4 seconds and 55 milliseconds. That number will almost certainly change. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Pixel Pulse for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.